Hello everyone, Pat Dana MMA back with another video. So today we're going to be getting into a bit of a new kind of series. So we're going to be getting into DWCS Season 8 contract winner rankings. And we're going to be breaking down these rankings by individual weight class. So we're going to be breaking down every fighter signed in each weight class, ranking each weight class and how those fighters stack up. And then after I do every weight class, we're going to be doing a pound for pound video featuring our best pound for pound fighters of Dana White's Contender Series Season 8 season. So for this video, we're going to be getting into the big boys first. We're going to be getting right out the gate with the heavyweights. So for Season 8 of Dana White's Contender Series, there were 4 heavyweights signed. So we're going to be getting into number 4 first. At number 4, we have Ukraine's Danylo Voievodkin. So Voievodkin beat Bailey Schoenfelder via round 1 submission on week 7 of the Contender Series. He had a massive underdog win. He clubbed and subbed an undefeated CFFC champ and really just kind of did what he was doing on the regional scene to his toughest step up in competition by far. He has a 7-0 record with all finish wins and 5 wins coming by knockout. He's never been past the 3-minute mark of round 1 and has only been past the 1-minute mark of round 1 twice, with one of those being in his last fight that he ended in about 70, 80 seconds. It was a very impressive win, and he is an incredible finisher, but he did fail to answer a lot of questions that he had coming into this fight based on cardio, based on what happens if he does have an opponent that isn't going to get put away early. But at just 24 years old, Voievodkin does have a pretty high ceiling, and he does have a lot of finishing upside. It's just his floor is that he goes winless and then gets cut due to just not being ready for this level of competition at a consistent basis yet. I personally feel like it will depend a lot on the early matchups for Voievodkin, but I think he should face UFC newcomer Sean Sharaf, who just recently lost his debut against Junior Tafa this past weekend. I think Sean Sharaf would be a really good matchup for a new guy like Danylo Voievodkin, so both of them could really get a chance to prove themselves against another young up-and-comer. At number 3 on our list, we have Brazil's Tallison Teixeira. So Teixeira beat Arthur Lopez via round 1 knockout on week 6 of Dana White's Contender Series. He has a 7-0 record with 6 wins coming by knockout and has a ridiculous 6'7" frame with an 83-inch reach. He just needs to learn how to use it better, though. In this fight, you kind of saw he got a layup of a matchup and was getting caught a lot more than he should have been before the finish. He did have a very spectacular knockout in round 1, but he was just getting hit way too much by a guy that probably shouldn't have been in the cage with him, to be honest. So that was definitely a bit scary. It might have been a bit overconfidence. He may have more potential than the top 2 guys on this list if he is able to go and put that potential together. And he is only 24 years old, so he has a lot of time to develop. I think he should start slow in the UFC. I think he does have future title contending potential with his build and just the ridiculous frame he has, but he still has a lot of work to do and needs to put a lot of it together. He does have a very low floor as it stands right now as well. And he's already booked against Lukasz Brzeski, so very good matchup for him. I think it's a guy that doesn't have a lot of striking power, isn't probably going to wrestle too much with him, and we'll give him the chance to kind of show off the power in his hands. So moving on to the number 2 spot on my list, we have Russia's Rizvan Kuniev. So Kuniev beat Hugo Kuniev via round 1 knockout on week 2 of the Contender Series. This was his second appearance and his second knockout win, so Dana basically had to sign him at this point. He had a 13-2-1 record. He has beaten Renan Ferreira, who is going to be fighting in a massive fight against Francis Ngannou this weekend, but he did test positive for lots of steroids in that fight, so that is the big flaw for Kuniev, is he was on a lot of steroids. He is on a 12-fight unbeaten streak, though, and has some really technical striking and just a really good, well-rounded game. He also has some really solid anti-wrestling, which we saw on his Contender Series fight. He is 31 years old, so he isn't old, but he isn't necessarily young. I personally think he could come out of the gate and hang with the top 15, maybe even the top 10, honestly. I personally think you should get a guy like Martin Buday in his debut. Another tough test, another guy who is really tough to put away. So I think that giving Kuniev a guy like that will really show us where he is at this point of his career. And for the number 1 spot on my list, it wasn't that hard of a pick. We gotta go with Mario Pinto here. Pinto beat Lucas Camacho on week 9 of the Contender Series with a vicious first round knockout, one of the best knockouts of the season, and he has a 9-0 record. His 5th KO also did answer a lot of questions that he had coming into this fight. He showed off his finishing ability, which was something that people were concerned about, and just how low volume he could be at times, and he showed his quick hands and just how technical he is for a heavyweight. He is just way too technical to be a heavyweight in today's UFC. It's just the honest truth. Pinto was my favorite heavyweight prospect before the DWCS season even came around, and this fight and this win only solidified my thoughts. Pinto is just 26 years old, and I think a top 10 ranking in the future is something that should almost be guaranteed for Pinto, but I do think he has potential to be top 5 or maybe even better. He just really needs to continue evolving the way he has throughout his career and just not have his evolution stumped by anything. I personally think that he should fight a guy like Walter Walker in his debut because Walker tests his wrestling a bit while also giving him the chance to kind of land on the feet. I really do think Walter Walker would be a really solid opening matchup for Mario Pinto to kind of showcase his skills. So there you guys have it on episode, I guess, 1 of our DWCS post-season breakdowns. I hope you guys all enjoyed these rankings, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one where you're going to be getting these light heavyweight rankings out very shortly. So I hope you guys stay tuned for those, and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching.